Hi everyone, welcome to the January 2019 edition of Farsight's Time Cross Project. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Courtney Brown, Director of the Farsight Institute. Now, before we begin, let me announce to all of you today that we have just wrapped up our most recent Major Mysteries project, one that will be released as a major movie in February 2019. Now folks, this new project is titled The Last Apollo Missions. That is right. According to our data, the Apollo missions did not end with Apollo 17 in December 1972. Nope. There was at least one and possibly two additional flights to the moon, flights that were military in nature and which were not publicized to the public. The purpose of the last Apollo flights was to investigate alien wrecks that reside on the moon's surface. Based on targets that utilized official governmental imagery, we now know exactly what happened with the last Apollo flights. Moreover, we know what happened to the alien craft and the artifacts that ended up on the moon. We know how that stuff got there, and we even know why it got there. And in February 2019, you will know as well. Coming soon, so look for it. And now, on to this month's Time Cross. We have an incredible mystery for you today. Today's show is all about HAARP. HAARP. That's right, HAARP, which stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Now, this program was paid for by the United States military, specifically the Air Force, Navy, and DARPA, which is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, a Department of Defense agency that works with emerging technologies that are used by the United States military, and the University of Alaska Fairbanks. The facility itself was and still is located in Alaska. Now, the stated official purpose of HAARP was to develop enhanced technology for radio communication and surveillance. But, as you will soon see for yourself, it involved much, much more. The facility operated from the early 1990s and continued as a military facility until 2014. And in 2015, the facility was transferred to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, where it is now possible to even arrange open house visits for tourists. So for this project, we are interested in how the facility was used before it was transferred to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and in particular, when it was used for its most important intended military purposes, while it was still a military research facility. Friends, there has been a lot of controversy about the HAARP program, but one thing is for certain. The military considered whatever was going on at HAARP a very high priority. Basically, HAARP involved beaming high-powered electromagnetic signals into the Earth's atmosphere, the ionosphere to be specific. Now, while the stated purpose involved research into communications and surveillance, you can be absolutely certain that the military never disclosed the most important purposes of the facility. Secrecy is taken very seriously by the military, but now it has been about 5 years since the military wrapped up its work at the facility, so it is appropriate for us at Farsight to wonder what all the hubbub was about. Now, people have claimed that it involved efforts to control the weather, that it could disrupt the magnetic fields of the Earth sufficiently so as to trigger some earthquakes, that it could be used to influence the emotional states of large groups of people, such as people that are residents in cities, and that HAARP might even have tested capabilities of disrupting extraterrestrial spacecraft. Electromagnetic warfare raised up a couple of dozen notches. Well, I'm not going to take you through all of the pros and cons of these arguments, since you can find such discussions widely available on the internet, and we at Farsight really don't want to get involved in hearsay. We would rather go in virgin, so to speak, and to find out for ourselves what our viewers perceive about a target. So that is what we did. And here is what the facility sort of looks like. It has a main central building, some roads, and a large patch of rectangular antenna arrays. Now, one can assume that anything more sensitive than this is not in the public available imagery. So one can also assume that the tremendous amount of negative publicity that was generated by the HAARP facility was responsible for the military shutting it down and handing it over to the university. And one can also assume that the military took whatever it learned from its research efforts and is applying these lessons in new research, including new weapons research that is being conducted elsewhere. And finally, one can assume that the military is not about to tell the world what was actually done at HAARP, nor is it going to say what it is doing now with such technologies. Now, official statements make it sound like there was only open research there. No real secrets, nothing weird nor nefarious. Just good, solid, academic-y science. Now, if you're interested, the Wikipedia article on HAARP is a good example of this deadpan tone. But in my opinion, you have to be really gullible to believe that. And let me be clear about this. It's the military, people. The military never publicizes what it is really doing with its research. It is not supposed to do that. It is not surprising, nor is it a bad thing. This world has militaries, and militaries operate on the basis of keeping weapons systems secret. That is what they do. And as long as we have militaries, and you can always assume that we will have them, they will continue to do research, and they will continue to keep this research secret. So, I am not complaining. I am just stating that you are not going to get a full accounting of what HAARP entailed from anyone in any official position of authority. No one is going to make this easy for you. No one official is going to sit down and give you the inside scoop. Besides, the authorities are fully aware that the masses can be all too easily deceived. State almost anything from an official source, and the mainstream media will parrot it in a second, and rarely is there much of a fuss. So if you want to know about HAARP and the technologies that are involved in that research, you have no alternative but to find out for yourself. So today we have 3 expert eyewitness accounts. 3 of the best remote viewers on the planet went to the HAARP facility while it was being used for its most important intended purpose. And they saw stuff, weird stuff, really weird stuff. They all got the verifiables correct, such as the terrain and the basics of the facility. But then it gets really interesting. Why don't you just see it for yourself? So starting with a fascinating remote viewing session by Princess Janae, then equally stimulating sessions by Melena Hall and Kahmia Dunson, here is what the powers that be did not want you to see. Take a good look, keep an open mind, and then make up your own mind. I will make some summary comments at the end.
Eight 6854515. My basic gestalts here are land structure and energetics. The land is very, very flat and level. I have very level topography here. There's some steep peaks off in the distance here, nearby water, but water is not the main part of the target. They smell of like electronics, like just a lot of electricity and electronics. Like you can smell that here. The land is very gravelly, it's dirt, rocky. I can't walk on it in barefoot, or maybe even concrete. It's rather hard. There are multiple structures here off in the distance here. There's just like this city outline of structures, and then there's one central structure that's with a kind of a pointed top. The structure seems to almost be, it's very flattish at the bottom, and it comes up almost like a top hat. It kind of reminds me of a top hat of some sort. The surface structure seems to have possibly was not always there. It seemed to maybe landed there, so it's possible that it was a non-surface structure at one point in time, or first, before it became where it is now. The odd-shaped structure seems to again be in the center of the land, very desert-like land. This place really does remind me of like maybe Vegas, parts of Nevada or something, or Phoenix, something rather. And there is, I am seeing a lot of colors of blue, purples, whites, and I'm seeing a lot of electricity, just electrical energy here. Non-surface structure kind of, before this structure was on the ground, when it's up here in the air, it sort of looks like imagine a bat flying, like if you can see the front of the bat while it's flying above you, that's what the bottom of the non-surface structure looks like here, from a different angle though. So it still looks like a top hat, but then that bottom part, when up in the air, something makes it look like that, almost triangular, but odd shape that a bat would have when their wings are spread wide open. There is another non-surface structure that stays up here while the top hat just lands here in the center, and it's got a very dome circular shape with lines coming down from the bottom. It almost looks it's shaped sort of like a jellyfish, like a giant jellyfish is what it looks like, an electric jellyfish. And it seems aggressive. I see 6 or so, maybe more, maybe a lot more actually, very slim, like really skinny, slim male subjects, and they're coming out of the top hat. They were once in there. They're coming out and they're kind of stationed here and here, and they're lined up. They're lined up in like orders. So you'll see like 4 or 5. Oh wow, there's many of them. 1, 3, 4. There's like 20. There's like 20 of these really slim and tall men here. And they're set up in 4s. So like here's the my top hat, like just right here, and then like coming out of it, you'll see them in groups of 4, just set up right here next to the hat, almost set up central and 2 here and 2 here. So like you would do 5 things here, here, and here. They're set up that way. It's weird. It seems very mechanical or odd, just very extraterrestrial-like. It's just not normal, the way that they are and shaped and look. They all look alike. The large circular jellyfish structure seems to be connected to something bigger. Whatever is going on here, it has an aggressive feel to it. It has a very upset, angry type of, like, it's not just a non-surface structure just zooming by or flying or floating by. It's got some angry and aggressive vibes to it, and it's just electrical. Again, I seem the desert land is again very flat, and I have this open road. Reminds me of an intersection almost. The open road is in the center of the desertish land of the land here, and the top hat is literally in the central point. The top hat structure is literally in the central point of the road. The road seems to have different components to it. So while you would have your crossing roads here and here, but they're not connected. It's like in pieces, and then here and then here. It's so weird. It's very odd. But it could just be, like I said, it could just be an intersection, like a giant intersection or something in the middle of this place. Again, they seem to have different components. I see what looks like poles or beams, rays of light, but they're not coming down. They are shooting up. They're shooting up towards the sky in this octagonal shape pattern. Kind of almost traces out, almost like oh wow. It's just in this odd octagonal shape pattern, and it's like these electrical colors, purple, blue, white. They just shoot all the way up here, and they're pinpointed. So you have it's Here's the center, and there's a light. There's a light here. The top hat's here. There's a light here. And then they go diagonal. So they meet, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. There's so many lights, and they are crossed here like an asterisk. The asterisk symbol, if you were to draw it on your paper, but really big, and they just shoot up. It feels like so much activity, a whole lot of activity at once, but it's also not. It's also rather still. I'm going to move to the target event just to kind of describe what all is happening here. Moving to the target event, these beams or rays are moving up, 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 and shooting up. There's lots of sound, but it's also very quiet. I know this sounds weird, but it's a lot of sound. It's loud, but it's also very quiet. It's very high-pitched sounds here. Reminds me of what I feel a dog feels like with a dog whistle. It's really screechy, really high pitched, but only it's not. But I can hear it. I can hear it as this buzzing and ringing, or ringing of some sort. It's just lots of energy, but it's also a lot of stillness, and then there's a lot of movement. It's almost like, imagine if you're watching a TV show and all this stuff is happening, and then it just slows down, but it's chaos everywhere. But it's like nothing is happening while so much is happening with the movement and the slowness, but the speed is still, and the movement, it's slow, it's fast, it's so much. Something is being absorbed. It's the oddest thing. It's like space on Earth. Oh, wow. I'm feeling this odd vortex type thing. It isn't visible, but you can feel it. You can feel the vortex. It expands and circles around and circles out and out, this way. It like it's going to cover the globe. It expands outside of Earth's rim here into the blackness, in the darkness and space. I see space and darkness. It just shoots. The vortex kind of just whoom, and it goes out of there. These rays or beams, again, they're shooting up so fast as far as I can go, and it looks internally in the earth, it looks like a lightning storm, like just a whole lightning storm. I want to follow the energy to see where it's going, what it's doing, if it's just up in the atmosphere or past it, or I don't really know. Again, the beams, they go up through the sky penetrating Earth's atmosphere. It looks like it created this marked pattern of some sort, almost very grid-like, like a constellation, but not in our sky, not to where we can look up and see the constellations, but it's almost like it created this marked constellation on the earth, on the world itself. So if you are looking from space at the earth, you'll see these different markings. Each marking is in a different location. It creates this energy circle. So it's like the markings are here. Wish I had a globe so that I can see where the markings are. each marking is in a different location. So in the pattern that it shot up into the sky is the same pattern that you can see looking at the Earth from space, and it almost stained the Earth the way you would thumbtack a map. Like if you want to go or have visited these places, you would thumbtack a map. It's like these beams stained and thumbtacked the Earth. I'm going to move to the effect of the rays to see what it affected. There's a lot of patterns and imprints, stains, markings, memory. It wants to remember things. It's like the rays probed the Earth the way I would probe in a target session here. It's like the rays zoomed in and honed in on the Earth, and it's probing it, and it almost creates this shake or tremor. Like it shakes it. I keep seeing parts of a machine, like parts that are not put together, and that you would have to grab like a puzzle almost. I keep seeing parts of a machine. I want to move inside these structures here just to understand what I'm dealing with. There's so much happening while it's also so little happening. It's the craziest thing. Going inside my dome jellyfish-like structure here, it's very dark in color, outside and inside, rounded, smoky grays. I think I see some reds here, lots of wires, and these wires are in, and you can see them on the outside. There are a lot of wires. It's very, very electrical, and it seems like there's space for someone or something to be inside, just like one person maybe. But it's mostly electronics. But there's so many different components to this structure on the inside. It's actually quite amazing. The creator of this structure is a genius. Actually, it's there's so many parts to it. This non-surface structure jellyfish thing can be flown, but now it's almost like it's on autopilot. Like no one's inside flying it. It's like it's been put on autopilot. Some super future helicopter that can operate on its own. I'm gonna move into the top hat structure now. My box structure on the ground. It's it has a very, very square floor here and walls. Everything is square and boxy, spacious, very spacious. A lot of subjects can fit inside. Feels like they recently were inside, like as I am investigating it. Feels like they recently were. There seems to be operating tables and controls. Very hard to explain. I've not seen anything like this before. It's kind of it's very sci-fi. It's got a lot. I feel like this super cool spaceship pilot looking at this is dope. It's really cool. But I've not seen anything like this before, and it has a lot of energy, very, very powerful. It seems to be able to heal. It has a healing mechanism to it, but it can protect. It also can. It does so many things. This can also locate. It's like a giant mechanical GPS doctor, mad scientist, all in one. It has the power to change things that are appearing to be unchangeable. Subjects are coming out. Those are my 5 groups of men that are coming out. This thing is it's very powerful, satellite powerful. It has eyes of its own. It can see everything. It feels like it can capture photos of locations both near and far. It can see everything almost. It has this very magnetic pull and a push. It's very strong. Sends beams of bright energy, powerful enough to change Earth's orbit. Like it can change so many things. Is this what creates retrogrades? I don't know. It's the beams that it shoots out connects in this very unique way. It creates some map or a pattern, but it also creates a shield. I can visibly see it focusing in on it, but we cannot see this with our human eye. It creates a shift in the earth. It can or has the ability to, I don't know if it's doing it, but it has the ability to create a shift in the earth similar to earthquakes and like sinkholes. Like it just changes the makeup of the land and the earth and just moves it around. And I keep seeing these metal shapes that fit almost like I said earlier with the parts of that machine. It's weird. I keep seeing these odd metal shapes, but they're not in this actual location where the target is. It's almost like everywhere else. I don't know why I'm seeing it. There's so much connected to this. It's too much. It's too much. I'm gonna try to see what. So I found out the effect the race had on things. Now I want to see what it affected, what it changed, or what it did. And I keep seeing this pyramid shaped thing. It's so much. I feel like this is all part of something, a bigger picture that I'm having trouble describing. I only see the pyramid shape, triangle shape. I don't know what it is. I can't feel it. I can't see colors. I can't touch it. I'm focusing very hard to see this. I'm having trouble describing it. It's like something needs to be built. I'm seeing this very boxy dodecahedron, super geometric, solid machine. It's like it's searching for a crazy alien junkyard for parts to build it or something. It's so much. It's similar to the angles that of the polyhedron pattern that the rays created, the grid or shield map thing. This is a lot. This is so much. I don't know what these rays or beams or lights or this energy or machine, I don't know what any of this is, but it's there for a reason, and I'm so curious as to why. I want to move to what will happen if the rays were not there. If this event didn't happen, what could be going on now? I don't know. Everything's so blank and dark. It feels like a blockage, like I'm not supposed to see what I'm looking for. Can it be that bad? Or is it nothing? Like is nothing here? Or can whatever I'm trying to look past be that horrible that my higher self is blocking? It's like there's a protection shield and I can't see beyond it. It's like I can't push past where this is. I can't push past it right now. Focusing on this, I can't push past. Is it keeping us in? Is it keeping something, them out. Who are they? Who or what is it keeping out? If it's not keeping us in, but it's keeping me here. As a remote viewer, we are, as a spiritual being, all of us, we're supposed to be able to see beyond all boundaries of time and space, but it's almost like someone doesn't want me to go that far. It's like I am being stopped, like there's a dead end, there's a wall. What's like something's hidden? What is out there? I can feel something, I just feel this overwhelming array of emotions. I feel something not so good, something bad, I'm sensing a wetness, a lot of water. There's so much water. There's so much water. That's all I can see. I can't see past that. I just keep getting this overwhelming an array of emotions. It's so much. I don't know if it's like, are we being hunted or protected by this ray shield, this shield of rays? This is giving me a headache. There's so much more to this, wherever I am, this target that we just can't see yet. It's almost like it's connected to so many different mysteries that have not been dug up, or this is so much bigger than what I'm seeing and feeling right now. And I know this probably sounds crazy, but it's just so much. We just can't see it yet. And whatever it is, whatever this is that has land, well, I don't know, whatever this is, it's something is aggressive, and I am totally labeling this angry jellyfish attacks city for his hat. I don't know what this is anymore. I don't know. Whatever this circular thing is just hovering over this boxy building structure thing, and it's in the middle of the land, and it's so much.
Today I will be exploring target 2154-4158. So I immediately see a big structure. Smelling a lot of man-made smells, burning smells, getting irregular topography. I'm also seeing structures here, rectangular shaped structures near the ground. And I'm also seeing peaks behind the structure in the very distance. Structures feel like it's made out of metallic pieces and also natural materials, but I'm also getting hard built material on the structure. At the top of the structure I get this bright gold type of feel at the top, but everything else on the structure is dark. It's dark brown, black, and gray a little bit, and the structures around it, it's very dark. This area is very natural, a lot of natural land, just a big peak rectangular structure with a round type of shape there, like a bridge type of shape, like a bent shape. I'm hearing a lot of noises and I'm hearing voices as well, so there's subjects here. Now I'll be looking more in front of the structure. So here I have subjects here. Seems like in their formation, seems like they're guarding the area. The area seems so secured. It's gated, and it seems like a very private and powerful place. It's a lot of noises. I'm hearing a lot of like sounds, buzzings and beeping. It's very dangerous near this area. Subjects are wearing dark clothing. There seems like security guards or just guards, and they're just standing in front of this gated structure. So now we'll be moving 1,000 feet up. From below, I see subjects and structures here. Moving up, I see lights. I hear noises and just the peaks. And from 1,000 feet up, extensive land. I see more peaks there. I see structures, and I also see an object there from 1,000 feet up looking down. And smoke, I'm getting smoke, a sense of mist, like dark smoke. Okay. Find the flying object. I'm seeing the structure again. It's a very big, tall, wide structure. A lot of energy here. Lots of energy. Peaks in the back. Very man-made built with brick and metallic things on this structure. And the object I'm getting is right next to it. Now I will be going inside of the structure to take a look what's inside of that structure. So this is what I have inside the structure. I got subjects inside. This structure is very built. It's built very weird. It's like a circular area inside, but there's also like a balcony inside the structure. Like there's like borders on the inside. There's windows, glass windows. It's very dark here, but there's light from above shining down. There's subjects. There's like this middle section here in the middle of the room. The floor here is very hard, metal-like, hard, like grayish, dark, have that rusty type of metal ground. There are steps inside. There are steps to get to the top because it's go up. The structure is it's leveled up and aside. This is the bottom floor, and I'm getting subjects here. There seems to be on this balcony in the inside. There's like a lot of equipment here. Have that strong electric smell, like the smell of a toolbox or somewhat. It just have a lot of metallic and tools inside of this structure, and it's just heavy built. It's very thick, the structure, and it has levels going up and around, but then, again, there's subjects here inside, and it's a lot of like light. I'm getting light and like the burning smells and just a very work feel here. It appears to have this extra light, extra smoke coming from somewhat outside. I have this feel of movement around this structure, like something feels very heavy, like I'm having a feel of, I'm getting this feel of fast energetics coming in. I feel panicking, so let's move around and see what's happening. So I will be going 30 minutes before time and 30 minutes after time. So it's noticeably quiet here. The structure still remains put. Has that, again, rectangular, square, and triangle type of shape, like some octagon or somewhat hexagon shape. I don't know. It just have a weird built shape, very strongly built. Have that middle area that's kind of round, but other than that, there's rectangular structures in front of it. There's like hard metallic structures around the area. It's very hard. It's like a very very obstacle type of area. It feels like a maze almost. So much structures, this corner, that corner, and then it's the big structure, and there's subjects here. So, but it's noticeably quiet there. So 30 minutes here between time. I get this massive object that fall straight down on the structure, damage quite some of the structure, a lot of powerful light, like it's like aggressive, like a loud sound, like almost a ship or somewhat, but it's not a ship. It's an object that lands straight towards down the structure. Very powerful, like lightning type of thunder sound, like lightning sound, the sound of lightning, the look of lightning. There's just like light everywhere, and it's just a whole fuzz type of noise, like a fizz, like a buzz noise. Is like bzzz, like everything is just it's like electricity or somewhat. But this heavy object just fell straight down on it. Okay, let's move. 30 minutes after that. So it's cloudy, very cloudy, a lot of dark smoke, heavy burning smells, like you cannot breathe. There's no subjects in sight. Just damaged metallic pieces on the ground. Everything's kind of broken up. But a lot of smoke though, so it's pretty weird. And it's just, this area is dangerous. It's a dangerous area. So now I'll be looking from a 3,000 feet up towards down to see exactly what I see from above to below. So here from 3,000 feet up, looking downward, I see the main structure here. I see the rectangular structures around it. Like I said, it has an odd shape to it. I'm getting flat ground from looking downward because it's very it's just natural extensive land, but there's peaks all around this area. I'm also getting this flying object here. It seems to be going towards the structure, and I'm getting a lot of lights, It feels like bad weather. Feels like insane weather, but it's just a lot of light, a lot of lightning strikes, a lot of electrical type of feel, and I'm also getting a speed of light, like fast light, like flashes of light, and it's just so much energy, a lot of power at the very top of the structure, but the structure from above is slanting towards that. It's like that's where its target is, and it's just everything's dark and light at the same time. It's just a big disaster. And again, the structure, it feels like a stone type of structure, like brick, stone, then metallic type of borders around it. It's very like heavy, made big, thick piece of structure, like walls. And but the energy of the collision, because it feels like a lot of force on my back, it just hit so fast. It feels like a car accident, but bigger. Like it just like so much energy from behind. It's a scary feeling, and I'm getting nothing but shock, like electricity and light. I don't know. It feels very intense to the max. So from this point, I just see light, darkness, and it feels like a big collision out of nowhere, but it feels like the intense from above and the energy from below, from the structure peak, just went together, and just a lot of power just went off, and it's shocking in both ways. Like it's so much feeling and vibrations from that, because it's like, whoa, it's like the structure the structure that fell down carries so much energy from above, and the energy below just collided. Just a lot of action, like something just hit hard. But yes, it's just a lot of power here, and that's all I have for this target, 2154-1158.
Today we'll be exploring target 94531716. My basic gestalts here are land, structures, and energetics. Okay. I have a regular topography here. I see colors of black and green. And then I have a couple of structures here, but it doesn't feel like a city. And then I also have like something that like mountains in the background, but it's very cold here. So here I've got my mountains in the background, and then my main structure right here on flat land. I also have a couple of non-surface structures. They kind of look more of like a balloon shape here, and they all seem to just be kind of floating around this main structure. I have a lot of energetics here. It kind of feels like, not necessarily like moving energetics, but a lot of energy concentrated right here in this area. I don't like see or hear any subjects here. all these energetics here, and like, you know, no moving energetics, but it kind of just feels like time is standing still. It feels kind of like all the energetics is concentrated here, but like not moving or anything like that. And then I also have one of these balloon-like structures. It kind of starts to leave this area here. Now I'm going to move to the target event. Okay, I've got this big structure in front of me. It's like black, gray, and it, you know, it's smooth, and it smells like, you know, metal and stuff like that. And then it kind of feels like foreign. It just feels like it doesn't belong here. It kind of maybe like feels like from like another planet, you know, like just doesn't feel this is where it's supposed to be. And then I hear like sounds that sound like wind being let out. I hear sounds of like wind being let out of a balloon. It's more like a very faint, very faint. And I see this structure kind of like, it looks almost as if it was kind of like placed here, like it locks into the ground almost. And then from there I start to feel this energy arise, and it starts to feel like there's a lot of energetics here, and it's emitting something. It feels like it's coming from inside the structure, and it's kind of just slowly being released from the structure. So again, for my main visual here, I've got, you know, these large mountains in the background, very cold. They feel maybe a little wet too, so some snow on them. I've got this main structure here that is emitting all of this energy, and I've got surrounding structures that are in the shape of balloons. And these are also just, you know, hard metal structures here, just kind of either like in the distance or floating around this particular structure. It almost feels like a facility of some sort here. So now I'm going to focus on this main structure here, and I'm going to redraw it. Okay. So I've got my main structure here. Like I said, it feels like it's surrounded by some sort of like energy field, like it's giving off energy here, kind of like this. And then the energy is being exerted outwards. So the energy is going like in this direction. And then I've also got these balloon-like structures surrounding my main structure in the background. So they kind of look like this, in a sense. So now I'm going to move inside this structure. Okay, inside this structure, it's like very dark and cold. It has like these very tall ceilings as well, and it looks like there's like horizontal bars on the inside going all the way up to the top. And I see like things that they kind of like, they look like this on the inside. So they're kind of just like these big machines, or not machines, but like just big metallic looking metal structures inside of this larger structure here. And I can just feel all of this energy being exerted throughout this entire structure. I feel the energy, you know, through the walls, through the floor, through these structures inside of them that I see. And then I also see something that feels like a subject, but when I focus on it, it just disappears every time. It's like I'll see it and it'll disappear. So I'm not really sure, but it kind of looks like a subject in a sense. And it just overall feels very cold and creepy here. It gives me these, like something's off inside of this structure. My disappearing subject, it kind of looks like it's got these big long things on the side of its head, kind of like bunny ears or like antennas of some sort. Kind of just like, he kind of looks like this, where he's got these long antenna or ear things on the side of his head. And he's just like light gray blue colors, and I also feel this immense amount of energy being exerted from this subject as well. So like I said, this building's giving off a lot of, energy. It's exerting energy outwards. I'm going to follow this energy. Okay, I see like a city. I see a city here. And I see that really large, like balloon-shaped structure. Okay, so I see this large balloon-shaped structure, and then I also see somewhere else, I see this city. And then I feel like all this energy coming from I feel all this energy like coming from the non-surface structure, and it seems to be directed towards this particular city. What I see here is I've got this city over here, and then I've got this non-surface structure over here. And then I got this energy of some sort coming from my non-surface structure towards this city over here. So now I'm going to move to the purpose of this energy. All I see is a city here. I just see, nothing out of the ordinary. But I do feel this energy all around it. It feels like, when I'm here, it almost feels like time is standing still. It feels like things are moving and things are happening, but you can't visually see any of it. It almost feels like it's happening on like a molecular level, and it's changing things that we cannot see and we will not see. It feels like the energy is all coming from here, okay? It feels like the energy is coming from here, and then it feels like it's being like pushed or moved towards this city. And then it just feels like the energy is only surrounding this city. It's like I can't see anything out of the ordinary, but the vibe feels off. It feels different now. I don't really know what's happening here. It feels very ominous. It just feels like this thing is... It just feels like it's changing the energy around the city. And it doesn't feel malicious, It doesn't feel like anything is happening per se. You can't see anything. No one really knows or sees that this is happening. Overall this thing is just very, weird. It kind of reminds me of that movie Annihilation, where, you know, like something comes and it starts to change things on a molecular level, on a genetic level. It starts changing everything around it that it feels like is not, you know, right or correct. It feels like something is trying to change or trying to alter this particular city and whatever is inside of it. It's just weird, and it's just weird. Yeah, this target just creeps me out. It's just creeping me out.
So let's wrap up. What do we have here? According to these remote viewing data, the HAARP facility was used for diverse research purposes. It was not just a one-item thing. Now, interestingly, all three viewers perceived odd non-surface structures associated with activities at HAARP. Also, all three viewers perceived massively intense electromagnetic waves being beamed upward from the facility. Princess Janae clearly perceived the surveillance capability of the operations. That facility was testing stuff that allowed it to know everything everywhere. Moreover, Princess perceived that the facility's power capability was sufficient to affect Earth changes, even possible earthquakes. Now, for those of you who may wonder how this could be, it has long been known that subtle changes in the Earth's magnetic field, often caused by solar emissions, can cause fluctuations in the inner dynamics of the Earth's core. Remember, the Earth is an 8,000-mile diameter ball of molten rock. It is liquid inside, not solid, so changes in the magnetic field of the planet, even small changes, could potentially affect how these molten liquids behave in certain locations. But Princess also noted that one of the purposes of the facility might be to search out alien technology, even defective or abandoned ships. Finally, Princess perceived that the facility had a defensive aspect, in the sense that it was designed to develop a protective shield, potentially for the entire planet. Indeed, in my opinion, some of the perceptions obtained by Princess do find what I find to be strong correspondence with some of the stated capabilities of HAARP research as specified in certain fundamental HAARP-related patents. Now, Kahmia Dunson focuses on HAARP energy that she sees as being directed at a city. Now, people cannot see everything overtly, but the energy affects the people in that city in some way, even on the molecular level. Now, Kahmia finds that a non-surface structure is utilized to help direct the energy toward that city. And Melena Hall perceives a non-surface structure that is affected by the HAARP energy in some way, causing it to descend to the ground, possibly even to crash. Note also that Princess perceives a non-surface structure that descends to the ground, and seemingly as a result of the HAARP energy. This makes me wonder if the HAARP system can also be weaponized against alien propulsion technology, possibly incapacitating or even controlling an alien craft such as to force a descent. So, what can we say about HAARP research based on these reports? Well, it does seem clear that the HAARP research did go well beyond that which was stated to the public. Deep stuff was being investigated, stuff that relates to all sorts of potential military applications. It is fascinating, actually, and at least we can say definitively that these reports are not based on hearsay. We are not relying on what anyone tells us about HAARP. We have 3 talented and highly trained remote viewers go to the facility while it was in active use, and they report directly back to us on what they perceived, and as always, under totally blind conditions. They were told nothing about the target or the nature of this project until after all of the paper and video sessions were totally completed. Well, that is it for this month's edition of Time Cross. Thank you so much for watching. Also, I hope you get a chance to watch our recent Mysteries project, Moses Beyond Exodus, one of our most amazing projects ever. And please remember to watch some of our other Mysteries projects, such as The War in Heaven, and also Tunguska Complexity, Remote Viewing, Area 51, the Roswell UFO crash, the investigations into the 9/11 events, the assassinations of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King, the psychology of Adolf Hitler, and some amazing explorations into UFOs and extraterrestrial life. And as always, all Farsight remote viewing work is done by highly trained remote viewers working solo under totally blind conditions with no communication between any of the remote viewers. So Farsight projects are nothing short of amazing, and there is nothing like it anywhere else. And remember that when you watch our Mysteries projects, you are helping us at Farsight do our work, including the funding for our Time Cross project, which we offer free to the public, but which costs us a few $1,000s to do each month. We have no other significant sources of income to pay the bills, so you really help when you follow and watch our activities and research. Without you watching our projects, we would not exist. And finally, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Farsight Press, to keep up with the latest. You can find information about all of our present and past activities on our website. And also on our website, please sign up for our free email newsletter, where we announce all of our major projects. The email newsletter is actually one of the best ways to keep up with all of our activities. Stay ahead of the curve. Let the mainstream fade in the dust. Be there now.